I've been working on this truck for a while. I got it like almost 2 years ago now. So on the first video, we rebuilt the transmission, put a new fuel tank in, we put a new PTO pump in and all that entails, and did a bunch of other miscellaneous things. And then on the second video, we rebuilt all the brakes and the kingpins up front and a bunch of other miscellaneous things again. And so now I'm ready to do the final pass through to get this thing inspected. So basically there's just a few things that I need to do, and the number one thing, the thing that we're going to start with anyways, is going to be this whole light assembly right here. This is like duct taped on here. It's all just really beat up. I've been looking for a hood for this for a while, and I found a few. They're like $500. That's not too bad, but it's like a 2 or 3 hour drive every one of them. So I figured with 5 or 6 hours of round trip driving and, you know, $500, I could probably make this a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot easier, and a lot cheaper. This is just a fiberglass hood, and somebody already tried to fix the fiberglass already without success. And then I just put this duct tape on here just real quick, just to hold the light in place. But it's not going to pass inspection because it doesn't even point straight. You can't even aim it. This side's not too bad. So then under the hood, there's a few more things that are actually even more important than that. The one thing is right here in the exhaust manifold, you can see there's 3 holes in there. And it's pretty rotted through. I was gonna like braze that or weld it, but I can see the material around this is very thin, and that's gonna be a nightmare to try to weld that or braze it. Back almost 2 years ago when I bought this truck, I immediately bought a new exhaust manifold. So I have one, I just haven't put it in. We'll see how much of a nightmare that is, because everything's pretty rusted on this. If you guys are just tuning in for the first time on this truck was like a municipality truck, like a town truck, and I think it was like a main plow truck, so it did see a lot of salt. The frame is good, but there was a lot of other components that were pretty rusted out, and even up here in the engine bay there's a lot of rust. A lot of people don't know this, but if you have any exhaust leak at all, they will put you out of service, which means they also can't inspect you. So even a pinhole, if they can see it, then they can get you for it. So normally on a passenger car or even a pickup truck, they let that stuff go. But with the heavy duty commercial vehicle inspection, you can't have anything like that on there. Hey, what are you doing, bub? Yeah, working on the truck. You want to get in? Yeah. There you go. Oh, you want me to close the door?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. What are you doing up there? You gonna drive it? Yeah, that's the horn, but you can't reach that. I can now. That was loud.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see you drive it. Alright, so here's what happened. I took the bucket off of this. You saw me peel it off of here. That's this piece right here. That's the headlight bucket. And in the midst of that, I tore it apart. Like, this piece is off. There's these pieces here. I tried to look for this part, and the only place that would have it was the dealer. And so I thought I was good. But then I asked for a diagram to see what it was, and I looked at the part number, and what they were actually looking at was this piece right here, this metal piece that goes around the headlight itself. So I thought I was all good, that's why I was ripping it out. But they don't sell this piece separately. You have to buy the whole hood, and it's like $2,700 for a new hood. So at this point, I'm trying to look for another used hood that I can put on here. Before I do any work to this, let me see if I can get another hood. I could fix this, but like the flange for right here is totally gone, and on this side it's totally gone too. I got like a little bit of it left on the corner here, but it's missing like probably about half of the flange on it, which is in bits and pieces. So at this point, I think what I'm gonna do is keep looking for a hood. Maybe I'll try to track one down, and maybe I'll spend a day going to get one. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, I want to keep going on this. So I'm going to start working on this exhaust manifold. That's the next most important thing that I need to do. surprised these first 3 here came off so easy. That's a good sign. But these last 2, this one has almost nothing for a head left on it. And then that one, there's just not a lot of room to fit in there. I can't even get a hammer to bang it on it. And there's these little tabs to kind of lock the bolt in, and you got to bend them back. But that one's on the other side and I can't get to it. So I'm going to cut these 2 and I'm going to try to get out the rest of these. But any of them that I can't get out, it's not a big deal to just cut them. Alright, so the manifold is out. Now I got 6 bolts to take out. So I'll just do the usual weld on a nut, spin it out. It shouldn't be too bad to take out. All these were not as tight as I thought. They weren't as jammed as I thought either. I ordered this online, but they didn't give me studs for here. And I could probably find some, but I think these studs are fine. Usually it's a good idea to replace them, but I'm just going to try to take these off and reuse them. And I'll reuse all the gaskets and stuff too. I ended up using one of these Diablo Steel Demon. I think this is carbide. It's meant for cast iron and high strength alloys and stainless steel. And once I use this, it cut through it like butter. You can see I already peened over a couple teeth though. So a $20 blade is you know, on its way out already. But it was worth it to get all these out. This one I cut directly down, so I cut the bolt on the bottom at the same time. So I was cutting 2 bolts plus the actual manifold itself. The other ones I was able to just reach around and just barely be able to get it at an angle. So I didn't have to cut all the way through. But it doesn't matter what I do to this, obviously, I'm just throwing it out. Okay, I finally got this one. I don't know how many tries I got on this, but probably at least 20. Just in a bad spot. There's not much you can do with it, because on the back side there isn't room like there is on the tops, where you could just put a nut. You could just drill it out and put a nut on the other side. But on the bottom here of this flange, there's no room to do that. So all the bottom ones have to come out. Otherwise you have to drill and tap it, or you have to put a helicoil in there. But either way it's going to be hard, because there's like 4 inches of room right here. So what kind of drill are you going to fit? You got to get like a right angle. So I'm really happy that this one finally came out. A lot of people have mentioned using a washer. I did that a few times. Usually it's just a lot more work to do that, so usually I can get them without doing that, but I tried that 3 or 4 times this time and it still didn't work. See, this is the last one I got here. I just welded this on, let it cool down quite a bit, and no, that's not gonna do it. Alright, so I got all 12 out. That one and that one gave me a really hard time, but you know what's funny? Both times, last night I was working on this until late. It was into the dark. And I just kept welding nuts on, and then I gave up, and today I went back and the first weld was the one that did it. And then again, same thing with this one. I kept welding it a bunch of times, probably like 10 times I welded it. And then I walked away for a little while, came back like an hour later, and first weld did it again. So it's kind of an analogy in life sometimes. You just work as hard as you can at it, And if you can't get it, just walk away for a minute and just come back, and usually that's all it takes. But you really want to give it like everything you got before you walk away. You don't want to just walk away right away. That's the opposite of what you want to do. It took around 50 nuts to get these 12 bolts out, but most of them were on those two on the ends. Alright, so these two here I had a hard time getting out. These actually poked through on the back side. So you can see they're like sort of rusted and welded on there. The other two came off really hard, but I did get them. So I'm going to go ahead and put this new exhaust manifold in. And before I do that, I'm going to chase the threads that are in here. Just clean up the threads a little bit. That exhaust manifold doesn't fit. This is a little bit smaller than this one. I didn't even really pay attention. I should have known by the size of these ports right here compared to those, but the part number's not on here anymore. I've been searching all over the place to try to get the right part. Hopefully it's coming in a couple days, but I really don't even know for sure. So I guess we're back to working on this light again. I did locate another hood that was pretty close, and it was only $250, but the guy has not been getting back to me, so I'm tired of waiting for everything. I just want to get this done, so let's just see if we can fix this up. Every single hood that I've found also needs a bunch of work as well as being painted, so I don't really know how much ahead I'm going to be if I get another hood. It's been a long time since I've worked with fiberglass, but I do remember one time when I was trying to make a shape like this, and I literally just put a couple extra drops of hardener in it, and it set up so quick that all I had to do was hold it and it would stay. I'm trying to make this flange right here, but I don't think I put enough of the hardener in there, and I have this much left that I have to do for the flange. So instead of doing that, I think what I'm going to do is use some Great Stuff foam. I'm going to put a beater on there, shape it how I want first, and then put it on there. That way I'm not sitting there waiting for it to dry. I probably should have just done that for the whole thing, but I thought I could hold it there and it would dry quick enough. And it is drying really quick, but it's not quick enough. So now I got to make this side look like this side. So there's a lot of material missing here. So I think the quickest and easiest way to do this is to find something that the resin doesn't stick to. Line the back here, overshoot everything, and then cut it down with the grinder. One thing that I know this resin won't stick to is these Bondo scrapers right here. I'm gonna take this out and grind all this down. So look at that, this thing will come right out of here. It's not doing anything. And now, that's not super strong, but it's only got one layer on it, so. Now I'm gonna take another piece of the mesh and overlap up into here. But first I wanna grind that down just a little bit. So I'm ready to start putting some stuff back together here. I'm going to put this bucket back in here. What I'm going to do is use Gorilla construction adhesive and put a really heavy layer around this. Alright, so now I should be able to handle everything from the outside. Everything in here works good. This little bezel piece here goes right in here. Clicks on that side. And then there's a screw that goes right here. So everything looks good. Even this corner, which I was a little bit worried about before, that works out. Might just need to put a little bit of Bondo in there. So at this point, I think I'm ready to just start Bondoing this. This has a lot of strength. This corner right here has 4 layers of the fiberglass, as well as like, I think 6 layers of the resin. It's really strong. I use this side as a gauge for how strong it should be. So at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm done with all the fiberglass work, so now it's all Bondo from here. So the first thing I need to do is grind this down really good. I'm going to use a flap sanding disc on this. The whole idea behind everything I just did was to make it really strong, and this is definitely really strong. I overkilled everything here. There's multiple layers on every part that was coming apart before. And you saw this was just out of thin air that I made this. So now I can trim this down because I oversized everything. And then I'll fill it all in with Bondo. You really don't want to start filling in with Bondo until you got the structural part of it done, because Bondo doesn't really have any structural strength to it. So I put in an order for this one, and then after I put in the order, the next day I found out that Cummins doesn't even make it anymore. So then I was like second guessing the people that I got this from. So I called them up and I was like, hey, is that definitely coming in here? Because I really need that. I can't wait around. And they were like, oh yeah, we're getting it right from Cummins because we don't have it anymore. I'm like, well, according to Cummins, they don't make this part anymore and it's not available anywhere. So you sure you're getting it? And they were like, well, we don't really have any way to tell until a few days from now. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. I definitely need this part like right now. I can't be waiting for answers and stuff. I ordered this part. I need this part. So I went on Cummins' website and searched for this, the 3929778, which is the part that I need. And they said they don't make it anymore right on the website, but they said it supersedes by another part, which is like the upgraded version of the part that I need. So I went on another website and I ordered that part, which is supposed to be the upgraded one. And I had them overnight it to me. And so now I have two of these, and this is where it gets weird. This is the original part that I was looking for, that they said came right from Cummins, and it did. It came in a Cummins box right from Cummins. So I don't even know how they even got that, because when I called Cummins, they couldn't even get it from overseas. There was none of them available at all. And then I open up the box for the other one, the newer one that I ordered, which came from California, and it's the same exact number, and it's not the new one, the upgraded version. So they also got a hold of one of these. So now I got to return one of them, but I just thought that was kind of weird. This stuff says it's good for up to 1800 degrees. So an exhaust system, unless it's overheating a lot, it should never see 1800 degrees unless you have steel pistons, which this does not. Aluminum pistons will melt at like 1300 degrees. So it should never really be above like 1200 degrees. Alright, so I got the turbo in. I was going to wire wheel this all off, but I'm just running out of time with this thing. Running out of patience too. So I'm gonna put 2 bolts in the front because I couldn't find any more studs that would fit this, and Cummins wants a ridiculous amount of time and money to get them, so there's no shame in that though. There's threads on the bottom of this exhaust manifold, and this is easy access, so 2 small bolts here. The studs in the back, you have to have those because there's no room to put a bolt on. I had put a hydraulic plug right here just to keep that from getting dirt in it, but that is the oil feed line for the turbo, so now I'll put that back in. I could have spent some more time making this better, but I am not worried about it at all. The best thing is I got that. So let's try this out. I'm gonna get my first load of stone from the gravel yard and we'll see how it does. That's substantially more than my other international truck can carry. I figure on an average I can get at least 3 more tons per load. So the international is good for about 6.5 tons. This one's good for about 9.5. That right there is about 10 tons. It's a little bit overweight. So overall, this has been a long time coming for this truck. That sticker right there is a big accomplishment on my end. Because when I got this truck, you guys remember, there was a lot of stuff that was wrong with this. Most people probably would have thought to junk it. I still do want to do the conversion on the rims. That's just not top priority right now. I do have to get going on building my house. But one of the next videos I'm going to do is actually a grading and landscaping video for my new house. There's a lot of stuff that needs a final grade touch on it. So I wanted to get this done first because I'm going to be getting a lot of different types of stone and topsoil and stuff like that with this truck. So I wanted to make sure this is all good to go before I did that. I didn't want to be using my other truck. I'm probably going to sell that international truck. I don't really see a need for it anymore, other than the fact that you don't need a CDL to drive it. And I don't see it being worth keeping it registered in New York because it's a lot of money. So the registration just ran out on that. So that's why I had to really get kicking on this thing, because I didn't want to have to register it again. But that truck was just inspected, so it is inspected for a while. I don't normally sell anything that I have, but that truck could probably go. This is a 33,000 pound GVW on this, and that's a 26,000 pound GVW on that. That truck has juice brakes, this truck has air brakes, so you can't drive it without a CDL. I was going to give this a whole paint job, but I just don't deem that important right now. I have other things that are way more important. So this does signify a big step forward, so now I can concentrate on doing work on and around my house. So I will see you guys on those videos.